manufacturing, technology, hot topics, and a little bit of tomfoolery. This is the MTD Podcast.
So welcome to today's MTD Podcast. We're going to be talking today specifically about sliding head lathes, the technology.
Specifically, that's easy for you to say.
What they do, why you should invest in one, why people are investing in them, and the differences between that technology and how it's evolved and fixed head turning. I'm joined today by Joe Reynolds and Colin Griffiths. Guys, how you doing?
Really good. Hello.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us aboard. It's been an absolute delight for you to
and
see
of
us.
course an audience, as you can hear there clapping in the background. Hello, audience.
It's one of your gags.
That was absolutely. So, how are we doing, guys? What's the news? What's the gossip?
Oh, we can't talk about the gossip.
Can we not? We got loads, haven't we?
I thought we got to crack on with this and not talk gossip and stuff.
We can tell them about your operation.
Go on, then.
No,
What's
don't.
that?
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
I know Luton Town one. That's all we need to know.
Yes,
Top of the table. We're going to be promoted. We're going to be playing.
I know that
Championship football
MTD
next year.
lost as well the other Friday against SECO, didn't we? Which was a real shame. I couldn't
It was
believe
close though, wasn't
that.
it?
I'd not have thought the manager did a good job though, didn't he?
Well, theirs.
Yeah.
So ours was.
Yeah, well done, Mike. Yeah.
Ours was rubbish.
I assembled the troops quite orderly, I thought. Certainly when I was watching.
Rearrange this
training.
word. Oh no, I keep it simple. Bad. There you go. Don't even need to rearrange it.
Do you want to know?
Rearrange it. Moving on.
Talking football, do you want to know a really useless fact?
No.
No.
This year is the first time ever that the top 5 divisions were leading. The top of the league was.
It's going to be a long story.
No, I just can't get my words out. So
We've got
first
15
place in the
minutes,
top 5 leagues all started with the letter L or L for you.
What do you mean? What,
Like
that
Liverpool,
statement-
Luton.
Leighton Orient.
That statement started with the word B. Boring.
Ludlow at the top of their league as well, are they?
I can't imagine for a second.
No.
Anyway, can we move on, please?
Of course we can.
Sliding head lathes.
Sliding head lathes, absolutely. Right, Colin, you've learned a lot since you've been in the industry about sliding head technology, haven't you? Why don't you start by telling us what you think is good about it?
Oh, that's put me under pressure, hasn't it? Well, compared to where they used to be, the intricacy of the machines, milling and everything like that, sub-spindles of speed, the technology, what everyone's saying about LFV, HFT, ABC, was it? You said?
Do you know, it's active chip breaker, but I couldn't tell
ACB
you
then, that'd be.
whether they actually class it as that. They call it active chip breaker.
Okay, all this technology coming through, some of the components they can make now, and 24/7 lights out machine, making it so competitive. I went to see somebody a couple of months ago, Apex, sort of Birmingham way, fixed head machine shop, bought his first sliding head, winning business from overseas, absolutely loves it. He's cleared his part of the machine shop now, ready to buy more machines.
Do you think that's down to the machine or the fact that the pound's weak and he's getting work from overseas because he's exporting?
No, machine, absolutely. So it's not just, it's UK and overseas work. So, but just having a sub-spindle, second operation, as every engineer says, you're getting that for free, essentially.
So are you the human version of a sliding head lathe? Do you work 24/7?
Absolutely. Never stops, Paul. Never stops.
Do we get the second half for free?
You get the first half for free as well. Flipping it.
As long as we don't...
It doesn't take 20 minutes to set him up. I know that much. Just pull the cord and let him go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and it breaks down a lot as well, which is different to sliding head lathe.
Guys, I'm still in the room. I can actually see you.
Instead of lights out, we could do with a bit of eyes open.
And the bar capacity.
You two will be going lights out when I knock you out. Moving on.
You can insert up to 3 inches in, Colin. 3-inch bar capacity.
Anyway, just on sliding head lathes. A good friend of the show, Shropshire Precision.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, Chris and Robin. They asked a question. It's a valid question. They're saying, they've got 4.
Spit it out.
Day 4. Joe asks a question.
I'm just trying to count. No, they've got
and this is our half-hour podcast, which is now into our third hour.
No, they've got about 5 machines, 3, 4, 5 axes. No, in fact, they haven't got 5 axes.
Oh, Joe.
We'll give you a clap.
Colin, get your hands off. The short question.
The noises, not you. The handoff, that is.
Quick.
Come on.
Get to
the quick. What I'm trying to say is are they too late to the party? Should they be buying one?
Absolutely.
When there's over 500 companies in the UK with technology.
Simple answer is yes, definitely.
He got it out.
Yeah, no, as I said, Apex, as his fixed head machine shop, bought his first sliding head about 6-8 months ago. Absolutely loves it. Will not look back.
So, but that is for new work. That's not for old work where it's 2 minutes cycle time because you look at these parts now, and some of them, there's not a radial part feature on the part. You look at it and you think it come off a milling machine,
like a dice.
But isn't this is evolution? right? You know, you used to be a monkey and now you're a human.
A baboon. Same thing, isn't it?
I could argue you're going the other way. You used to be human, now you look like a monkey.
Guys, back, stop fighting.
But the evolution of machine tools. If you look at look at multitasking machines, they have tried to accommodate the fact that you can mill and you can turn because they want to be able to provide a one-hit solution. Sliding head lathes have gone from machines that just used to turn thousands and thousands of parts into machines that can mill, multitask, all different styles of components, and the manufacturers have made the machines like that so they can sell more of them. You know, it's simple.
Do you think that's the reason?
I'll tell you what, Paul, not a lot gets past you, does it? What time do you get up in the morning? When Nina boots you out of bed, so fairly early, I should imagine.
But am I wrong or am I right?
Paul, you're paying my salary, so you're right every time.
But I do think it's the fact that the machines are being adapted, and there's new features from them, which we'll talk about in a minute. Like, or you've mentioned LFV and HFT and so forth. They're trying to make the process more reliable and efficient. And
what about then? It's maybe not such a massive change in technology. Love this one: guide bush, non-guide bush.
Well, that's the key, isn't it? Again, they're trying to adapt the machine in order to be able to do shorter components, to be able to make the machines not need necessarily ground bar. To mean that you get less remnant on bars as well.
Oh, you know stuff, Paul,
so these is the reasons they've introduced.
I told him before we started.
And as soon as one manufacturer of sliding head lathes sort of introduces the guide bush, non-guide bush change, then the others follow suit.
That's great though, having that option. So I mean, you've got your guide bush in the machine, which is where you're looking at your sliding head, so you can do your long, thin parts, keep that concentricity, accuracy, whatever it may be. But I forgot what I was going to say, which is really not very helpful, is it?
But
how easy is it to change over?
It's very, very simple. I mean, in fact, Tornos claim that theirs is the fastest. I think it's 20 minutes to go from.
I see a challenge coming on
to
here.
Non-guide bush. 20 minutes.
Guide bush World Cup.
Yep.
Yeah, 20 minutes to go from one to the other. So it suddenly means that you can go from large volume components down to smaller volumes.
I don't think it's a case of larger volumes, smaller volumes. It's more different types of parts.
Different types of parts, but also different types of parts. You can change from one sort of part to another.
You can't just forget the remnant, can you? Some of steel is cheap, isn't it? But when you start getting into your exotics, your Inconels, your titaniums, the bar's expensive.
Yep. Yeah.
32mm bar, you don't want to be chucking that away.
No, absolutely. And I think
they use a bar. They don't chuck the whole bar away, Joe. Just
and the remnant, Colin.
And I know this is sliding head lathes, but Tornos also do multi-spindle lathes. And the thing they've tried to do with multi-spindles now is the same. They've tried to make the machines quicker to set. They've tried to make them so that they can do more diverse components with obviously like milling and stuff like that, and also more intricate parts, bigger bar diameters. So really, companies that used to buy multi-spindle machines, they would buy them because they had masses and masses of volumes. So the market's restricted. Tornos have said, well, if we break down these barriers and make the machines easier to set and and take bigger bar diameters, we open up markets and we sell more machines, and that's what they've done.
Can I come? So you're saying Tornos multi-spindle machines?
Multi-spindle machines they manufacture.
Twin spindle, yeah.
It's one of their biggest markets, yeah.
So when you say, 6 spindles?
So, 6 and 8 spindle machines they have. And if you've never seen a multi-spindle machine...
Incredible, isn't it?
Incredible. I mean, every time that the spindle rotates, you get a finished part. So essentially,
so you're doing 6 ops, essentially?
You're doing 6 ops, a different op on each spindle, and the part will come off finished, and you get one after the other after the other. But you can change them quickly as well now, which is the key as well.
Can you? How quickly?
Not sure it's the exact time. I didn't time myself last time I did it.
In all seriousness, have you done a video on that? Because I've not seen that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, there's a video on the MTD CNC channel where I went to Switzerland to Tornos last year.
Have you got your passport back yet from that visit?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah. Don't tell them the story.
There's a long story, guys. We haven't got long enough. This is
But also, one of the other things talking about Tornos actually on their machines was me and Gio went there the other week, and Gio was excited. Gio and I was excited. Gio was so excited about the fact that all the tooling's compatible from machine to machine, and it's their own dedicated tooling.
He needs to get out a bit more often, doesn't he? Poor guy.
and also the accessibility of the machine, both sides, both doors open front and back. So they
walked in and walked straight out again.
You walk through it, yeah. And also their machines are, they go up to bigger bar diameters as well. I think it's over 36mm bar. So
that's the big thing for me. It's always been
a bar.
Yeah, but no, 32mm was probably largest many manufacturers went, but they're pushing the envelope, aren't they? I don't know what's the largest
Start machine up to 44 or 45 bar in the non-guide bush mode. I think that's on their SR38 machine.
Yeah. So that, do you think we'll be sat here in 5 years' time and it'll be a 62 mil bar capacity? I see no reason why not.
Well, I don't think we'll be sitting because we're obviously standing, but I think
but my knees would have gone in 5 years.
I think the question is about Adjo. Do you want that size bar whizzing around? It's going to be a lifting and flipping thing for just the logistics of it.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, I think that there comes a break point, and I think that 2 inch is about as big as
where you want to part it off.
Would go, yeah. Exactly.
Or engineering base guy. Come on, guys.
Yeah. What about your cannabis oil, Joe? Have you been working on your knee?
Oh, yeah, it does, yeah. Without trying to be a sales pitch for cannabis oil. Yeah. Yeah, it changed my life.
Really? Did it really? That drastically? Yeah?
Yeah, I can play cricket. I'm able to participate.
So it didn't help you on the pitch though, did it, when we were playing?
Well, I wouldn't have been on the pitch without
participating, eating the half-time tea does not constitute playing cricket.
No, joking aside, it's good.
What about this chip braking as well then? Tell us about the chip braking. What's the benefit to having the chip braking on sliding head lathes? How much difference is it?
People think it's just about bird's nest removal or getting rid of it, so it's chipping all the time, but it's not. It's things like less use of your lubricants, better tool life, better surface finish.
Better tool life.
Absolutely, yeah.
I find that strange because carbide likes being in cut. When it's in cut, it likes to remain in cut. So you're saying cut, that pulsating, I would have thought it had gone the other way. And the other thing,
but you've got to think those pulses are so minor.
But you're leaving a component, and that if an insert's going to fail, it's when it enters quite often. That's why in milling you ramp or you put a curve into the part. But
numerous times I've heard that. Absolutely.
Just on that, it's what was I going to say? Put me off, Colin. Here we go again.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot. Go on, carry on.
No, extended tool life.
And I think the big.
I've got it.
Oh, he's back in the room.
Sorry, LFV and all the other different types of software.
LFV isn't software. Cool, don't say that. It's a machine, a machine built around vibration.
Okay, well I apologise, but that type of strategy at the
that's better.
Sliding head companies are all adopting now. Doesn't it increase your cycle time significantly? I've been
definitely
told.
not. Absolutely not.
It can do, but does that matter if you can run the machine unmanned?
So you'd only need it when you need it. I know it sounds obvious, but you wouldn't just by default turn it on then. It's if you're doing long chipping materials or materials that won't chip.
And the great thing is you can a lot of Star users are being able to retrofit this to their older machines. So they're being they can phone up an engineer, they can pay for whatever they need to pay for, and they can get the HFT onto the machine. So you don't have to have necessarily a new machine. I went to a company in the Black Country or Birmingham, one of the two.
Oh, you've got to get it right. If you say they're from Black Country and they're from Birmingham, it's going to be a rumble, mate.
And they were having problems basically not being able to leave the machine. They couldn't leave the machine because they open the door, take the swarf out and all the rest of it. But now, okay, he's slightly backed off on his cycle time, but he's on a winner because the machine is just basically cutting the components when he's having his bacon and eggs like you do.
Take the kids to school.
About the HFT, the LFE is totally different technology, absolutely. So I'd probably not go down that route in terms, they are totally different. People need to understand that. I think it's more what it's actually doing. And a great phrase one guy used, process security. So now, instead of having to clean the swarf out, bird's nest every sort of hour or half hour, they can leave it running for 3-4 hours without, they can go and have a sandwich.
It's little things. I go up to Arnold Dragger a fair bit in Sheffield, but his skip is full, but it's probably 90% air. It's just all swarf. Whereas that's expensive, one presumes, to get that collected. Whereas
great example, precision metals and plastics, exactly that. Huge swarf. Lift it up, not a problem with these guns, obviously. One where they've been chipping, it was weighed an absolute ton.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got that, the inconvenience of emptying a swarf bin, and you're seeing them have got like a big piece of metal, like a metal bar, trying to squash a swarf down.
What also about the fact that the market, has been run really by two suppliers, isn't it? In the last few decades, really. You've got a lot of new users or new suppliers of sliding head lathes coming through now, trying to break into this market. Do you think they'll manage?
It's controversial.
It's got to be. You've got to be different, haven't you? I don't know if they're entering at a lower price point. Like, I don't see a scenario where you're going to move away from a Citizen, a Tornos, a Star to another, unless it's down to price or something they offer the others. Because
some sort of new technology that those groundbreaking or chip breaking.
The two big incumbents must have 98% share. They must have certainly above 95%.
I'm sure Tornos would argue that. But I mean, I noticed from Leader CNC's website today, they've just taken on the Nomura, which is a machine that hasn't been sold in the UK for some time. Dugard obviously have the Hanwha now. I think it's a Japanese or a Korean machine. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. And then Dugard have the Hanwha machine. So these guys are now starting to think there's a good market there for sliding head lathes. As the market opens up, because more people are buying them because they're more flexible, as we've spoken about already. Does that
we say the flexibility on a interject, if I can use that word, because people think, I've got no idea, but shut up, I'm talking. That's what it means. People think sliding head technology are going to be doing thousands and thousands of components. You don't. We've been out to places where they're doing 20, 50 off, but it's still cost effective for them to do. And then they just stop, set it up, do another component. It's so simple to use.
And I agree. And I think that's probably why all of the companies, the aforementioned companies we've spoken about, are selling more and more machines, and other companies are thinking, well, if I can get into this market now because the machines are more flexible, there's a bigger market for them, I've got an opportunity. But will they crack that nut? It's going to be interesting.
It's tough, isn't it? The tooling guys are similar. There's a lot of new players in the tooling arena, but it's not like selling a CNMG bog standard insert. There's a lot of technical support that goes along with that, and I guess it's the same for the machine tool guys, isn't it? They're used to doing a turnkey on a 5 axis. Now they're given this, how many axes on maybe 10, 11, 12 axes on a slider. It's a big shift.
We say that about sort of product differentiation. It's not just about the product. Key story that comes out all the time when we're out and about, well, definitely when I'm out and about, is you can sell a cracking machine, but you want to have the sales and support in the background. Absolutely. And that's a big differentiator.
Yeah, it is. And also, if you look at the things like being able to balance turn, for example,
is that like simultaneous
when you
or superimposed?
It could be. When you're doing things like balance turn and you're trying to optimize processes, you do need the application support in the background that can say, actually, that cycle time's 32 seconds. If we do it like this, we can get it down to 21. And how beneficial is that? And that's where I think,
if we do it this way, it'll go up to 48. Let's do that.
But you say about that balance, well, superimposed, simultaneous balance to turning, whatever you want to call it. People might think, oh, how am I going to program that? You know what? And again, I don't want to go on about HFT, LFE, whatever. It's so simple because it's one button, one line of code. It's simple.
Yeah. But the things you've got.
What is that code, Colin? Can you just fill this in?
It's top secret, mate. Yeah. It's G12.
You've got to. You got to be able to. When I say balance turn, I also mean within this that you need to be able to balance out the cycle times on both the front and the back spindle to get you the best. And that's. But some would argue that there's software to do that now. So why do you need a person? Because I know some of these guys
still need intervention from engineers. Right. And quickly interjecting again, if I can use that word for the second time. I've absolutely no idea. Well, I went for an interjection at the doctor's the other day. It hurt like buggery. But anyway, you put it in the wrong place, that's why. Anyway.
Wonder why you're walking funny.
Oh, I've done a job. I forgot what I was going to say. No, because now with your sliding head, you can run them 24/7, etc., etc. You've got skilled engineers who are not loading machines, clearing swarf, whatever it might be. They're actually running 4 or 5 machines, but using their skills and improving productivity in other ways as well. So
upskilling as well.
Oh no, not upskilling. They've got the skills. They're just not at the moment. They're highly trained engineers. Well, most of them we see anyway. No, but they are just loading the machine, unload it, or taking bird's nest off. That's not cost effective.
What about the power of the machine as well? This is always a point that's been brought into question.
There's a switch on the wall.
What do you mean, the milling heads?
No. I'm talking about the actual turning spinners as well. One of the things we learned at Tornos the other day was the fact that they have 10 kilowatts of power on their main and sub spindle. Quite a healthy, powerful, statement or healthy spec on the same machine.
Like the sub spindle doesn't do it justice, does it? It's actually a spindle in its own right, really.
Correct. It is. You've got a what they call it, a twin spindle, a front and a back spindle. But I know the Star machines also last year. I think their SR32J Type B, I think it is a much heavier machine. It's something like 3 tons heavier, more powerful spindles as well. So here's evidence of the manufacturers looking to take on more challenging materials, but removing the metal far quicker.
So I guess to wrap it up, guys.
Oh, we're finished, are we, Joe?
Would you buy one? Would you look in the marketplace for a sliding head, or is there too many users already?
Too many users?
Too many users, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, you get it right, you can make some fantastic components quickly, efficiently.
I think it's
In
a trend.
fact, I'm off to go and buy one.
I think it's a trend, and I think you should buy. I think it's you know, do you buy 5-axis? Do you buy sliding head? Where's the market? But I think with sliding head machines, you've got the opportunity to be really competitive with your pricing, because you can obviously make parts faster, and you need less operators. You can buy 3 or 4 machines. You don't need the necessarily many people. So my answer would be.
But even if you don't have work.
Oh, well, that's catch-22. It's very easy.
Well,
it's easy to say, I currently do 2,000 of those and it costs me X, stick it on there and it costs me Y. That's easy mathematics. But if you're a milling shop, for instance, and you're going into turning, would you buy fixed head or would you go sliding head?
That's no different to me saying to you, you know, you've got no money in your pocket, but will you still go and get a curry on a Friday night?
Well, Joe would anyway.
Of course he would, exactly.
I'll stick it on account.
He's got his CBD oil. He can do a runner now, can't he? But say that, taking a step back and not talking about your curry, Joe, would you buy a machine if you haven't got the work? Great example, Rotec, fantastic company, invested loads, but they bought this machine. It wasn't a sliding head, it was a DMG Mori from memory. Didn't have any work for it, but he loved it so much, bought it, and now it's running. He's actually got robot arm on it, running 24/7.
He's got a robot arm, has he? What does he do with that?
Well, he kept it, he closed it in the door on the machine. So
oh
my God. Paul,
guys,
Paul.
Thank you very much for joining me. What a fascinating topic. We'll be back for more next week. Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers,
Enjoyed
guys.
it.
Thank you for having us, Paul.
Yeah, no worries.